Okay, hi, let's start our last session for ACI 2, classes 9 and 10. Yesterday, class 7 and 9, 8. 7, we talk about, 7 we, hold on. Sorry. So yesterday, class 7, we discussed about the gotcha, the things that we deny, or the impossible things, because we are going to go into the emptiness, proof of emptiness in classes 8 and 9, right? So in order to be able to understand emptiness, we need to understand what it is that we deny, because definition of emptiness is the absence of impossible things. This is difficult to understand, but if we know that, if we understand the two husbands in the kitchen, right? So we are basically saying that the impossible husband is impossible. Is impossible to be there. Sorry, the emptiness husband is impossible to be there. Yeah.
Teacher, sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to remind Francisca to translate.
Okay.
Francisca?
I think just now I couldn't hear her voice.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Francisca, maybe you need to plug in the mic or something. We can't really hear you.
Okay, teacher.
Oh, okay, it's good now. All right. Okay, so let's start. Let's restart. So yesterday we spoke about, in class 7, we discussed about things that we deny, because we want to go into the definition of emptiness, which is the absence of the things that we deny. Okay, things that we deny means the impossible things. And in order to understand this better, we need to use back the two husbands in the kitchen, the life tool, right? So there are two husbands, one which is the emptiness husband and one is the sit husband. And the emptiness husband is impossible. It's impossible. So the absence of this impossible husband is the emptiness. Okay, so it's a bit difficult to wrap around, but this is how it is. Another example that Geshe Michael always like to use is the absence of the, I think Geshe Michael will use the two-headed 20 feet high purple elephant in the room. So this is actually another metaphor for the gotcha, for the things that we deny. The question is, in your room now, do you have an elephant with two heads, which is 20 feet high? 20 feet high is about 7 meters high, 7 meters high, 2-story. The normal house, it will be a 2-story house. And in pink color, is there such an elephant in your room, right? We say, no, impossible.
No.
And the absence of such being, such elephant, is the emptiness, is defined as emptiness. So similar to the absence of the impossible husband, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. A lot of things falling down. Absence of the impossible husband, or the absence of the two-headed 20 feet high, tall, and pink elephant, right? So first we need to really wrap around our mind the idea of gotcha first. And once we understand the gotcha, then we know what emptiness is all about, because it is just the absence of gotcha. And this is basically the definition of the higher middle way, or we like to call it the consequence branch of the middle way, right? And we also discussed on the topic of gotcha yesterday, various gotcha definitions according to different schools, from the most basic to the most sophisticated. Yeah, to the most, from the most basic to the most sophisticated. And basically, well, I mean, we are not going to discuss again, but it will be things like it's impossible for things, for functioning things not to have a cause. For example, it is impossible for things to exist without parts. It is impossible for things to exist. It is impossible for the object and the mind to exist. It is impossible for the mind to perceive an object which are from different substances, from different materials, for example. Yeah, and then it is impossible for things to exist without coming from seeds or without somebody who deserve it to be around. So these are various ways of expressing the gaccha, and of course the absence of such will be the emptiness. Sometimes you see, you just need to have the basic understanding so that you can understand various definitions. Yeah, various definitions. And then when you hear the definition, it's good if you can identify which school are we talking about. Right? Let's say when I say that it is impossible for things to exist without the cause, which school is that? This is basically the Abhidhamma. Or rather, yeah, and then we can say it is impossible for things to exist which we can control all the time. This is basically the definition of the Sutra school. Yeah. And so on and so on. So you can listen back to the class from yesterday, which is class 7. And then once we understand the gaccha, then we can understand about the emptiness. And to understand emptiness, we have the 5 proof of emptiness. 5 proof of emptiness. The first one, we talk about the Chik-to-drel. Chik-to-drel means not one nor many, or proof of one or many, right? And then 2, 3, 4, if you remember, 2, 3, 4 are basically focused on 4 possibilities. 4 possibilities, 4 combinations, we would say, right? Number 2, which is called diamond sliver, we focus on the causes. And then the second one, we focus on the result. And then the third one, we focus on cause and result. Yeah. And then finally, the last one, the 5th one, we talk about the king of reasoning based on the interdependence. And we say that things do not really exist if they are interdependence. They are interdependence, and they are interdependence. And this interdependence here basically will bring us back to the definition of gaccha. Okay. Interdependence here basically commonly known as dependence origination, right? Dependence origination. Okay, so I hope you are not confused. I know you are confused. But I hope you are not confused. Okay, let's move on. Today we are going to, in class 9, today class will be relaxed and quick, okay? So we may even end earlier. Class 9, we are going to continue with the proof of emptiness, and we are going to zoom into the Chik-to-drel, one or many, okay? Proof of one or many. And if you have attended advanced level 1, I think we have covered this already, okay? Yeah, and then of course the syllogism that we covered in advanced level 2. And then finally, class 10, we talk about who is Maitreya. Yay! Who is Maitreya? Oh yeah, let's go to class 9. Let me share with you the presentation. Here it is. Okay, so class 9, let's start with the prayer. Who wants to lead prayer? I think, Ivor, you can lead the prayer today. Will you? Can you? You are still muted.
Yeah, I will try.
Yes.
Please follow me, help me. This is my first time. Yeah. Sashi Puki Sushin
Rira Blingsi Nyinde Genpa Di Sangge Singdu Mikte Owangi Rokun Nandam Singla Chupa Shop Idang Guru Ratna
Nam
Miring.
Yami.
Please continue.
Yeah. Sangge Chudang Soki
Chapnam La Chang Chu Badu Dagni Gyapsu Ki Daki Yen Gipe Sunam Ki Dola Petir Sangge Dupar Shamo
Sangge Chudang Soki
Daki Chokta Jang Chu Badu Dagni Gyapsu Chi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Dola Petir Sangge Dupar Shamo
Sangge Chudang Soki
Choklam Chang Chu Badu Dagni Gyapsu Daki
Suki
Daki
Chung
Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Dola Petir Sangge Dupar Shamo. Thank you. So basically, when we say lit prayer, it's quite easy. What you do is that the mandala, so you do the mandala mudra, and then basically the leader, the first word must be loud, okay, sashi, and then all the rest people will just follow. Sashi and then follow, until you finish. Idang Guru Ratna Mandalakam. So this will turn your mudra into Anjali Mudra, right? Anjali Mudra. And then we go into the refuge and bodhicitta. Yeah, Kyamdro Samke. Yeah. Here, same thing. Here we will recite 3 times. So again, the leader will say the first one loudly, Sangye, and then everybody will follow. And then we repeat 3 times. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So proof of one or many, Chik2 drill. We use the 3 knowledges, right? 3 knowledges. What are the 3? The foundation knowledge, Sishe, the knowledge, the foundation knowledge, Sishe, which is the knowledge of those in the path of learner track, or the learner track, and then Lamse, which is the path knowledge of the path, which is those who are in the Mahayana track with the bodhicitta, and finally the omniscience, knowledge of a Buddha, right? So we say, consider the 3 knowledges. They do not exist really because they do not exist really as one and really as many. So this is the name, one or many. One or many. So if they exist as one, if they exist as many, then they do not really exist. Okay. To really exist here, if we can conclude, means they should be able to exist as one and they should be able to exist as many. But anyway, let's take a look, right? So this is called the 3.5 elements. 3.5, actually, there is another component, the 4th one, which is the example. But here, this example is optional and we can eliminate, right? And then we need to do the 3 relationship. We call it the 3 checkpoints. Whether 3 is connected to 1 accurately, whether 3 is related to 1. And then the second test is that second checkpoint. If 3 is correct, then 2 must be correct. And then the C is called the negative necessity, right? B is called the positive necessity. C is negative. If 2 is negative, 3 must be negative. So only when these 3 relationships are established, then we can say that this is a valid, we call it syllogism, valid syllogism, right? Actually, we have 3 parts to a syllogism, and we can combine them into one sentence. Or from one sentence, we can convert it into a syllogism. So this syllogism, we can actually look at it this way. The 3 knowledges do not exist really because they do not exist really as one or really as many. So you see, from one sentence, we can divide into 3 parts. Okay. And then we check, we go through the sentence, we put the sentence through the 3 relationships. Okay, now let's examine them one by one. How to prove that if they have parts, they do not really exist as one? Yeah, this is basically the positive necessity. If 3, then 2. Yeah, this is the second checkpoint, you see? Yeah, second checkpoint. If 3, then 2. If 3, then 2. If they do not exist really as one or really as many, then they not exist really. So this is what we want to discuss here. So basically, if they have parts, they do not really exist as one. So we look at the many first. So we have one, we have many. So now we focus on many first. Many means many parts. Oh yeah, before I move on here, okay. Oh yeah, this one we are using the pen, but I would like to quote an example by Professor Conila in Advanced Level 1, if you remember. Okay, Conila was talking about her having she was working late, and then she slept, and then midnight she woke up with a heavy head, and she knew that she must have fallen sick. Right? Head is heavy, and then feeling unwell, But and then she put this situation into the syllogism test, right? So consider the fever. She had a fever. Consider the fever. The fever does not exist really because the fever do not exist really as one or really as many. So she started to think, is this fever exists as one? Not really, because the fever consists of the sweat, the perspiration, the temperature, the headache. So there are many parts to the fever. Okay, so it does not exist really as one. How about many? Yeah, many parts. But if we analyze each part, how about the sweat? The sweat. Is the sweat the fever? No. The sweat is not the fever. How about the headache? Is the headache the fever? No. You can have headache even if you don't have fever. The feeling of giddiness, the headache, Sorry, the sweat, the headache. Oh yeah, the headache. Okay. So she tried to analyze each part. Is each part represent the fever? No, it's not. So because of that, this fever do not really exist. And I don't know why she was saying that. Maybe because she put her mind through this analysis, she just felt that her fever has gone away. So this is just an example. Okay, you can use this on the, let's say, angry husband. When you look at an angry husband, he does not exist really because they do not exist really as one. Is that one? is the husband, angry husband one. No, he has his parts. He has his body. He has his anger, you know, and then there are moments also to the anger. So no, he's not really one. But does he really exist as many? Not true, you know, because yes, there is a husband, there is anger, there is a moment before the anger, during the anger, after the anger. Not every single one can represent an angry husband. So yeah, so the angry husband do not really exist. Now let's go to this pen. Okay, we are using the pen. We are using the pen to analyze. Take a pen. When you look at a pen, you cannot see the pen really. You cannot really see the pen because you see the parts of the pen, the top, the bottom, etc. So impossible to see the pen without looking at the parts. While you are looking at the parts, you cannot see the whole pen. You only see some clues, colors, shapes. And based on the parts, our mind then paints a complete picture of the pen for whatever is out there, right? And you believe it's a pen out there. And you forget that it is just your mental construct. So if you see parts, you cannot see the whole. If you see the whole, if you see the pen as the pen, then you cannot see the parts. Yeah, so if you're perceiving the parts, if you see the parts, you cannot say that the object exists as its own at all. So this is basically some ideas that we need to wrap around, right? If you can see something as parts, you cannot see it as a whole. If you see it as a whole, you shouldn't see the parts. If you see the pen as a whole, you shouldn't see the parts of the pen. So because of that, we cannot see that the pen exists really. Okay, let's go further. Okay. Yeah, so this is based on the pen. Now let's look at the knowledge, the three knowledges, right? How to prove that three knowledges have parts? Okay, three is true of one. The three is true of one. The three knowledges is true of one. Well, I think it's easy to say that the three knowledges have three parts because the number three there gives us the clue, right? So now let's go through the logic. We can prove that everything has parts. And this also applies to the three knowledges, right? And we can say that all things can be classified as changing and unchanging. And we can put the unchanging as either physical, mental, or not physical nor mental. And then we can also divide physical as gross and subtle. Okay, this is a bit complicated. In fact, in DCI level 7, Geshe Michael used the life tool, one life tool, just to explain this. Yeah, one life tool, all right? So the blue box, all the stuff you can see somehow. Okay, actually we can say all the things in the world, all the things in the world, in the universe, they exist and change, or they exist and don't change, right? We can divide everything in the universe as things that exist and change and things that exist and don't change. Let's put this don't change aside because this is not many and difficult. Let's go through here. Things that exist and change. We can divide them into physical things, mental things, and things that change, which are neither physical nor mental. Okay, we are going to, well, yeah, so we can divide this into three. And then physical things, you can divide them into physical matter and physical things that we imagine. Colors, shape, sound, smell, taste, touch. Mental refers to accurate perception and mistaken perception, right? Accurate perception we can divide into direct accurate perception and deductive accurate perception. And of course, deductive, there are three ways: good logic, convention, and trust. Yeah. Well, I mean, we are not going to go through too much about all this chart. I think we will, in ACI 2, we are only going to just give you some overview, but we are going deeper on this in, I think, ACI 13, right? Yeah, but here just a quick overview. And of course, things that are neither physical nor mental, they are basically concepts, names, seats, time, those are not physical and not mental, all right? So based on this understanding, now let's continue, right? Based on this picture. So we know that the physical things, there are gross and subtle. How to prove that things have parts? Gross physical thing. We know that physical thing, right? We know physical things have parts. Now the problem is, if you cover parts of a physical thing, let's say we use finger here, right? We use finger, 5 fingers on your hand. If you cover 2 fingers, there are still 3 fingers, right? There are still 3 fingers. So we can say that fingers, our hands, have parts. The physical thing, which is hand, have parts. Because when you cover part of the hand, you can still see the other parts, right? So we can say hand has parts. How about, this is to prove that hand has parts. How about to prove that hand is one? So parts means hand is many. How about hand is one, right? If we cannot say that hand is one, because what? If
It
I
consists of parts, teacher.
Yeah, I think if if hand consists of one without parts, if I cover part of the hand, the whole hand should be gone. The whole hand should be gone, right? Because when we say that it is whole, even when I cover some of it, the whole thing should be gone. But now the fact that when I cover part of it, you can still see the other part, that means it is not one. It is many, right? And of course, here we say that if we didn't have parts, if they are one together, when we move the hand, the whole hand will move together. Yeah, we move together. If they have parts, the idea is that when I move one, the rest will be left behind. The rest will be left behind. So this is basically on the gross physical thing. So this is on, well, I mean, we use the gross, the gross means easy to see, okay? It's easy to see, so you can use this to analyze. That's why we cover part of the picture, I'm covering part of the picture, you can still see the other part. So we can say that they have parts, right? All right, now let's move on to subtle physical things. Here we talk about subtle, which is very small. So in this case, we use atom, right? Atom. Geshe Michael like to say that atom is defined as something not dividable. You cannot divide. Atom. A here means not. Atom means dividable. So atom means not dividable. It's the smallest thing there is, right? Now, do atoms touch, combine, blend into each other? Now let's make our mind very very small. Okay, one atom and the other atom. If we put them together, they are touching. When I say they are touching, right? They are touching at the sides. The other part, they are not touching. So does it mean, but we say atom is not dividable. Here we say that the atom has the left side, have the right side, have the top, have the bottom. So what is an atom? An atom is not supposed to be dividable, but here we say atom has sides. When we say atom has sides, that means atom has parts. So when we say that atom is not dividable, When we touch them together, the right side of the left atom will touch the left side of the right atom. How about the left side of the left atom and the right side of the right atom? They are not touching each other. So that means atom is not indivisible, right? So if they touch each other and not the whole atom collapsing into each other, then we say the atom must have sides. And that means they have parts. That means a definition of atom is incorrect. Okay? Otherwise, every surface and point of an atom should touch the surface and point of all parts of the other atom. Yeah, so that is another logic that I think you need to bring into your meditation. Yeah, do your contemplation. Okay, to help you visualize, Geshe Michael used another very interesting example. You know, we say atom is the smallest thing. Well, I know now science has, in science we actually dive deeper. We say atom consists of neutron, electron, and a neutron, proton, and then electrons. And then now we even, for the quantum physics, we go even deeper. But the definition of atom itself is that even if you divide, even if you go smaller, let's talk about electron. Can you put electron together touching each other? Yes, I think so, right? Electron is so small. But when you put them together, when the right side of the left electron is touching the left side of the right electron, but not the other side, then that means the electron has parts. So you can go down to divide it even further, and you will never be able to find something that collapses into each other. Okay, Geshe Michael used this. In order to help us visualize this, Geshe Michael said, okay, let's make an atom. Let's blow the atom up to be as big as an elephant and then try to visualize when they touch together. Yeah, this will be very helpful in your visualization, okay? This is a very interesting exercise and meditation. And if you have time, I would suggest that you do it, okay? It will be, this is a good exercise to help you plant the seeds, a very strong seeds for one day, so that you can have a DPE, okay? Okay, how about mental? We have proven that gross physical things have parts, subtle physical things have parts. How about mental? Mental, right? Mental, does mental have parts? We say yes, let's prove it. So mental includes mind and mental functions. Basically, it's basic awareness, you know, like anger, concentration, love, etc., right? Mental things, we can divide into direct and remote causes, direct causes and remote causes. Direct means things happening right after the event. So that belongs to Conila. So she said that, yeah, example, Connie's visual awareness of John, Sugang's visual awareness of all of you, of Amelia, of Alice, you know. So the direct cause is the visual awareness the moment before, right? The moment before. And the moment before, yeah, and of course, the contributing factor here is what? Conila's eyes and Jebila's skin, John's skin. The eye looking at the skin. These are the contributing factors. They are not the direct cause. Those are physical. The direct cause is the visual awareness the moment before of the mental thing, right? So visual awareness, yeah, is the visual awareness is caused by the visual awareness is the cause of the mental function of John, you see. So Conila's perceiving of John is the direct result. So we can see that they are direct, means there are no time lapse, not time lapse. There is no space in between. Visual awareness and the perceiving. Conila's visual awareness of John, and then her perceiving of John. Okay, so this is immediate. This is immediate, right? One after the other. Remote means the two events happen with some pause in between. Yeah, some pause in between. So we see that when I am telling you there is a visual awareness and then there's a perception, that means there are two parts already. There are two parts already. This is a direct. Remote means one event, pause another event. This also shows that there are parts in our mental awareness. So we can say that everything has parts. Everything has parts, right? So when we talk about this, which school are we in when we say that things are impossible to exist without having parts? Anybody remember? Which gacha is it? Basically, the
Middle way, teacher. No.
which one? Middle way, there are two, right? The independent and the consequence, the lower and the higher.
The consequence.
No, the independent, the
No.
lower.
The lower.
This is still the lower, okay? This is still the lower middle way. And lower middle way, we use a
Yeah.
lot. We use a lot, okay? How about the higher middle way? How do we see? How do we say? Does it really matter if you analyze all these things? Actually not, all right? Why we say no? Because higher middle way, we talk about seeds all the time, right? Seeds all the time. But this independent branch, which is the lower middle way, analysis is still very, very useful. Very useful, right? As long as when things have parts, they are changing. They are changing. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the page before. So here we talk about so we discuss about this side, changing. How about unchanging? Things that exist and don't change. There are only three things in the whole universe. Unchanging things are cessations, which is the stopping, empty space and emptiness. Cessations, you know, I'm in Sedona now, and then I was in the Hatha Yoga Pratipika last class, and Yeshu Michael threw a question to me specifically. What is Gokpa? And he was offering $1,000. I don't know why my mind was sleeping still. It was early in the morning, and actually Gokpa is cessation, and I missed the $1,000. I think he increased it to $3,000. I missed the money. But anyway, so that will make me remember this term forever. Okay, Gokpa means cessation. So cessation means the stopping. Yeah, the stopping. So the stopping means the stopping is unchanging. Yeah. The meaning is even deeper, okay? But I just want to tell you that cessation is unchanging, and we will explore that when we go to other ACI classes, okay? Empty space is also unchanging. We always use this example, you know. In general, we discussed a lot about gacha yesterday, but in general, we can divide gacha into three types, right? Based on interdependence, okay, we can say that there are three kinds of interdependence. The very basic one is very easy, cause and effect. Things do not exist if they don't have the causes. Okay, this can explain 97% or 99% of everything in the universe. But this cannot explain empty space, because empty space doesn't have any cause. Empty space just exists, right? So this is what we call the functional school. The functional group, sorry, I shouldn't use group, the functional group. Functional group includes the detailists include the sutris and also the mind only. Okay. Now the second group is called the independent group, which is the independent branch of the middle way, which is the Sautantrika. In order to explain the emptiness, the independent school come and say that, hey, things do not exist if they don't have parts. If they don't have parts. That's why we can explain empty space, because empty space have parts. Empty space has front, back, left, right, top, bottom, at least these six directions. Yeah. So this is the independent branch. And we spend a lot of time today to discuss about parts of many things. We discuss the parts of the gross physical objects. We discuss the parts of the subtle physical objects. We discuss the parts of mental things. Okay. So empty space. What is the third one? The third one is called the consequence group, implication group. This is basically the prasangika, the higher middle way, right? We say things do not exist without the seeds, without the person deserving it, means without seeds. Things do not exist without seeds. Without seeds, things are impossible to exist. Without the seeds of seeing an angry husband coming from his own side is impossible. Okay, so this is what we are saying, right? And of course, finally, example of unchanging things. The last example is emptiness. Emptiness has parts too. All right. So this is class. Yeah, this is class 9. This is class 9. Okay, your brain is burning already. Okay, so this is class 9. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, Minwit, any questions? All right, I think. Okay, if there's no question, let's have a short break and then we'll come back.
Teacher.
Class 10. Yeah, Emil.
Oh yeah, later. Teacher, I'm still confused about what you told us from the experience of teacher Connie.
Yeah.
When she got a headache, she said that the parts like the fever, she has a fever, and the parts like the headache, and then probably the dizziness, and probably the fevering head, all the parts. And then when she kept thinking about it, because she knows that the parts doesn't exist, and then suddenly the headache is gone. Are you saying that when we keep thinking about it, the emptiness happen, or is because of the seeds? Because in higher middle way, you said that you cannot see the angry husband if you don't have the seeds, right?
That's true. That's true. So yeah, I think we know that there are seeds, right? But she just wants to prove that the headache, the fever is empty.
The connection between one and the parts.
Yeah, she just wants to prove it. Yeah. I think sometimes when we are teaching, it's good if we can have what do you call that? Personal example. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for your question. I think well, like I mentioned, this is okay. First of all, this idea is because this is using logic, so this is sutras, right? And then we go into this proof of one or many chick to drill. This is actually touching on the lower middle way. So of course, Geshe Michael always like to say, right? You need to know what hat you are wearing. If you put on the higher middle way hat, the consequence branch, we don't have to discuss all this anymore. We don't have to, because when you talk about seeds, everything is seeds. But why do we still go through all these exercises? Is because we want to become bodhisattva. What does it mean by this? It means that we need to understand the understanding of the lower school so that we can explain to those people who subscribe or who believe in those other schools, you see, those other systems. Although I'm not saying that this is not outside our system, this is still inside our system. And it is very important for us to understand all the foundations to strengthen our understanding, okay? To strengthen our understanding. In fact, yeah, I used to question all this before. Why do we have to learn all this? Although we know that the seeds is the highest. Another benefit is that while thinking about all this related to emptiness, we are actually planting very, very good seeds. And Geshe Michael did mention, right? Even he repeated again this time around in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. He said that when you spend time to think of emptiness, to analyze all these topics, we are planting a lot of seeds that at the same time will freeze our bad seeds. You see, what better way to spend your evening or morning in my time here to think about all this, to plant all the good seeds for us to have DPE one day, and at the same time freeze our bad seeds, putting all the bad seeds into the fridge, the freezer, you know. And of course, translator, when you are translating, you are also planting a lot of good seeds, right? So congratulations to 11 of us, 12 with my wife beside me. You know, we are planting good seeds and at the same time freezing all the bad seeds. Okay, so that is what we have in this topic. All right. So if there is no other question, let's have a break, and then we come back shortly for the class 10. Who is Maitreya? All right. See you again. See you soon. Okay, let's continue. Class 10 about Maitreya. Who is Maitreya? So let us review again before we review again what we have learned before we go further. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Okay. ACI 2, there are 7 topics. There are 7 topics, 3 kinds of refuge, and then 5 kinds of extraordinary refuge. These are covered in class 1 and 2. And then class 3 and 4, we learn about the bodhicitta or the wish for enlightenment. And then class 5 and 6, we learn about nirvana. Class 7, we learn about gaccha. Class 8 and 9, we discuss the proof of emptiness. And finally, class 10, who is Maitreya? Okay, who is Maitreya? So we talk about the perfection of wisdom itself, the source of why we are discussing about Maitreya, Lord Maitreya. And the debate is basically on the whose needs, what needs does Maitreya have when he taught the commentary of this perfection of wisdom, right? And then we go through the theme, and then they are debating whether Maitreya is a Buddha or a Bodhisattva. And finally, the secret teachings really exist. Okay. Okay. So as we know, this book, The Perfection of Wisdom, The Perfection of Wisdom was taught by Buddha Sakyamuni 2,500 years ago, right? And there are many, many parts. These are the 3 main parts: the long, the medium, and the short. Consists of 100,000 verses, very, very long, and then medium and the short. Even the short version, we know, like the Dhammapada Sutra, Heart Sutra, all these are part of the short version of Perfection of Wisdom, Prajna Paramita, right? And all these are basically referred to as the mother, because the Buddhas, because they have made Buddhas, they created Buddhas. That's why, like mother giving birth to children. 350 AD, Maitreya taught Asanga. Maitreya taught Asanga, which was then written as the Jewel of Realizations. This is a commentary of the Perfection of Wisdom, right? So in the book, in the Jewel of Realizations, Maitreya bowed to the 3 jewels, right? 3 jewels. And based on this component alone, then came the debate. Okay, we'll go into that topic after this. And of course, based on the Jewel of Realization, Indian Master Haribhadra, wrote the commentary to that book. And then finally, in Tibetan tradition, Kedap Tempa Darge wrote the analysis. Dialectic analysis means the detailed analysis of the Perfection of Wisdom, right? So these are basically the lineage of our teachings, right? So because of the opening of Maitreya bowing to the Buddha, in the Jewel of Realization, then came the debate. Okay, and what is Maitreya's motivation in writing this book? Is it for himself? He wrote and shared the commentary, or it is for others? So people are debating whether Maitreya wrote the commentary for himself or for others. For himself so that he doesn't forget, or for others, so other people can study and learn and also become enlightened. So this is the debate, right? So basically, Gyaltsabje was debating with two masters from Sakya on who is Maitreya. Okay, in the sutra, right? In the sutra, or basically we say, okay, Gyaltsabje, this is the Tanka picture of the Je-Tsongkhapa. Yeah, Je-Tsongkhapa is the main master in our lineage, Je-Tsongkhapa. Of course, we can trace Je-Tsongkhapa lineage to Lord Buddha himself, Buddha Gautama. And you can see seated in front, left and right, his two main disciples, two main students. The left one is Gyaltsabje, the right one is Khedrubje, right? So we see here Gyaltsabje Dhammarinchen is the main one. Gyaltsab means the throne holder. Throne holder means he is the next in line after Je-Tsongkhapa went through his parinibbana, right? Followed by Khedrubje after that. Okay, and Gyaltsabje is a logic master. He is very good at logic, and he is also a master of secret teachings, right? So this is Gyaltsabje. Khedrubje is also a very important figure, and we are not going to discuss about it today, but he is also very important. Je-Tsongkhapa has three main students. Of course, the third one is the Gendundrup. Gendundrup is the first Dalai Lama, right? Gendundrup. Of course, there are many students. Being a great master himself, he has many students, right? But these are the three main students that we always mention. But in the Tanka, we only have two, left and right. And there are many Buddhist schools in Tibet, but the main one are four. There are four. Well, basically there are three that people always mention: Gelug, Sakya, and Nyingma, right? But now I think Kagyu is also growing in importance, and these are the four major schools. There are others as well, but not as major as these four. So the Gyaltsabje was debating with these two Sakya masters. The Sakya master said that the Maitreya doesn't aspire to fulfill his own needs. The main motivation he taught the jewels of realization, Abhisama Alankara, is because he wants the people to read, to learn, to practice, and to get enlightened. So the Sakya master said, this is Maitreya's main motivation. Gyaltsabje say, you are wrong. This is the debate. You are wrong. When you say that Maitreya only wants to, his main motivation is for others and not for himself. If this is what you are saying, you are wrong. Okay, this is the punchline, okay? But normally we should put the punchline at the end, but because this is a teaching, this is not a storytelling, we are giving you the punchline here, right? The main problem of this, or the main theme of this debate is that we shouldn't confuse Maitreya's status. We say that in sutra means open teaching, right? Maitreya and Manjusri are students of the Buddha, and they are bodhisattva. This is in the open teaching. But in the secret teachings, they are already Buddha. Okay, now let's go through why we have these statements. Okay, now, so this is the argument topic. Does Maitreya has a state of mind to fulfill his own needs? Because the Sakya master say no, he wants to fulfill the needs of others. If you remember when we say that the Buddha jewel, right? There are the 8 characteristics of Buddha jewel. The last characteristics is talking about fulfilling self and others' needs. Fulfilling others and self and others' needs. So Master of Sakya says Maitreya only has a state of mind, or doesn't have a state of mind to fulfill his own needs. Your subjects say, if you say this means Maitreya is a bodhisattva. Yeah, because he has a state of mind to fulfill others' needs and not himself. This is a state of mind of a bodhisattva, right? To say so, are you saying that Maitreya is a Buddha? Or are you saying Maitreya is a bodhisattva? Because according to this statement, Maitreya is a bodhisattva. So here we want to clarify. If Maitreya is a Buddha, he should have the aspire to fulfill his own needs and others' needs. I think there's a typo here, right? Okay, let me correct it now. Others needs. Okay, yes. So if you say that, so here we said that the Maitreya is a Buddha because Buddha also has to fulfill his own needs. But the Sakya say no, Maitreya only aspire to fulfill others' needs, which means that they are saying that he's a bodhisattva, right? So now let's further go through. So now, is Maitreya a Buddha? If Maitreya is a Buddha, in fact, Gasab just said that if you say Maitreya is a Buddha, then you didn't study the Mahayana Sutras well. Right? Means you don't differentiate the open teaching and the secret teaching well. Of course, this is a public debate. This is an open teaching. We are not going to discuss the secret teaching here, right? Open teaching is necessary as an entry to secret teachings, right? Therefore, open teaching is called shared teaching. But all practitioners to learn both the open and secret teachings. Of course, you need to start with the open before you go to the secret. Open teaching, we talk about the 3 main paths covered in ACI 1. Renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. Right? So we need to have deep understanding of this before we can go into the secret teaching. Right? But in the sutra, in the open teaching, in Jewel of Realization, Maitreya mentioned that he is a 10th level bodhisattva. 10th level bodhisattva, right? So he is not a Buddha yet. But in the secret teaching, we learn that he has been a Buddha for a long while, right? Even Lord Buddha, Buddha Gautama, right? In the open teaching, we learn that he was born in Kapilavatthu as a son of King Suddhodana, right? This is open teaching, and then he went through his practice, he learned, and then he became a Buddha. But in the secret teaching, he is only pretending to be a human coming to this world to show us the way to become enlightened. So the same thing as Maitreya, the same thing with Manjusri and so on, right? So yeah, the Sakya say, Gasab just say, I agree that you say Maitreya is a Buddha, but he still possessed the state of mind to fulfill his own needs, right? Why? As a bodhisattva, there are 2 needs that you are fulfilling, right? You want to achieve full enlightenment, and then you want to help all other beings. So that when you become Buddha, you will have two bodies of the Buddha, the form body to fulfill the needs of others and the Dhamma body to fulfill your own needs. Yeah. So Gyaltsabje is challenging the Sakya masters. Do you think the definition of bodhicitta is incorrect? Because based on the definition of bodhicitta, there are two parts, right? Achieve full enlightenment for self and to help all beings for others, right? So here we have a segue, we have an explanation. Dhamma body is the body of omniscience, yeah, knows everything, exists in the past, future, and now, yeah, and also the form body that exists forever, yeah, including the emanation body, right? Here we discuss in ACI 1 Dharma body is the result of collection of wisdom, Yese Kichok, yeah, Chuku, Yese Kichok, and then the form body is the result of collection of merits. Suku is the result of Sunam Kichok. Sunam is merit, Chok is collection. So, therefore, here we summarize again, right? Bodhicitta means you aspire to be enlightened, to free living beings from the suffering of the wheel of life. Enlightened is self, helping others is others. Okay, so these are the bodhicitta. So now, Maitreya is a Buddha. If he's a Buddha, why does he want things he already has? Buddha has no self, and therefore Buddha should not desire to fulfill his own needs. Correct? So this is basically the debating point. So the Sakya say, yeah, he's a Buddha. Why does he want things he already has? His motivation is to help others. But Gyaltsabje says that since this is an open teaching, you shouldn't confuse yourself with the secret teaching. And therefore, in the open teaching, you should look at Maitreya as a bodhisattva and not a Buddha. Yeah, so he was saying, don't confuse yourself with this one. And therefore, when we talk about bodhisattva, we know that he should have a state of mind to fulfill his own needs. Yeah. And yeah, so of definition of a bodhisattva is that you want to be free, you want to get enlightened so that you can help others get out of the samsara. Okay, now, finally, the last point. Does secret teaching really exist? And this is actually quoted from, I forgot, I think it's quoted from somebody. Let me check. Emptiness and yeah. This is from Commentary on the Valid Perception. Commentary on the Valid Perception, right? So there do exist the ones who know the Tantra, yeah, meaning secret teaching, and can, in cases, use the secret word with success. Yeah. So there are people who has learned Tantra and can use the secret word, here means the mantra, successfully. Yeah. These are the proof. These are the proof that secret teaching really exists. But here it continues. Mainly Tantra gets the power from the one who taught it, meaning from the teacher, and the teacher who is following his precepts, his vows. So a lot of time we say, hey, I want to learn Tantra, you know, and of course, you need to go through the proper initiation and the teaching, yeah. Meaning that your teacher has to grant the teaching to you through initiation. And after that, you need to hold onto the precepts well, the Tantra precepts. And Tantra precepts, Tantra vows are built on top of the Bodhisattva vow and the Pratimoksha vow. So if you want to be successful in Tantra, first you need to have the correct lineage, right? The teacher, you should be able to trace the lineage all the way to Lord Buddha, Buddha Gautama. And then not just yourself, the teacher and yourself have to hold onto the vows consistently. Only then your Tantra practice will have power. Only then you can become successful in your practice. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that after you get Tantra, you can forget about all the open teaching. No, it's not true, right? The secret teaching is based on the open teaching. Okay, so this is what we have for today. So basically, class 10 is pretty easy, pretty simple. If you go through the readings, we are talking about understanding the differentiating between open and secret teaching. Well, I mean, if you are not in secret teaching yet, there is no such risk. But if you are in the secret teaching, then there might be this risk that you mistaken the position of those enlightened beings. Okay, so this is basically the idea. So this is the end of ACI 2, which is Buddhist Refuge, and we covered a lot. And typically after ACI 2, there will be opportunity to take the vows. But anyway, a lot of you have gone through that already, so we shouldn't discuss on that. Yeah. So let me summarize. When we say Buddhist refuge, when we say the three taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, a lot of time we just do it verbally and as part of the process. And some people take the terms literally, right? Taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha means I will take protection from the Buddha, I will take protection from the Dharma, I will take protection from the Sangha. But what it really means here in our system is that it's all back to the concept of emptiness. And when we talk about emptiness, we talk about the pen and the chew toy. We also talk about the two husbands in the kitchen. All right. What it means is that taking refuge in Buddha means that you aspire to become enlightened. You aspire to understand the emptiness well, right? Just like the Buddha's mind. Sorry, this is Dharma, okay? This is Dharma. In Buddha, getting protection from the Buddha means you want to train your mind to be like a Buddha. And then Dharma Sangha, Dharma refuge means you are learning the emptiness well. You are learning the emptiness well. You learn about the pen story. You learn about the two husbands in the kitchen well. And finally, Sangha refuge means people who are practicing this in their daily life. Of course, the real Sangha jewels is a group of people who have gone through, who have had the direct experience of direct perception of emptiness. But in the so that is the real definition, but in the deceiving way, Dharma refuge refer to people with the rope, But in modern days, Sangha refers to people who are practicing together, especially in our context, people who are practicing the pen story together and understand about this teaching. Of course, it also means that we remind each other. We remind each other. So that is a Sangha jewel, okay? So that is a context of our group, our system. It's quite rare that Geshe Michael himself will give the vows, right? The refuge. But if he were to do it, in fact, in our system, you have to sit through a class. I still remember 2014, right? When Geshe Michael was in Singapore, and then he was giving a teaching, and it was like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the evening, or like now. Now is what time? Now it's 9 o'clock in Singapore, right? 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock in Indonesia and in Vietnam. Right? He finished his teaching at 9 o'clock. I still remember he was teaching about the will of life. And then after 9, there was an announcement. Okay, Geshe Michael is going to give the refuge and also the Pratimoksha vows, you know. If you want to take part, you can stay back, write your name and stay back, you know. And I thought, okay, this will be pretty quick, you know, the most is half an hour. And then I can go home, you know. So at 10 o'clock, he started. And he gave the teaching on the on the Buddhist refuge. You know, how long did it take him to explain everything? It's 2 hours plus. I think his lecture ended at about 12:30. And then we take the refuge at 1 a.m. And then at 1:30, then I got to leave. And I reached home at about 2+. You know, so wow, I was blown away. You know, nobody has ever taught me about how to look at the 3 refuge in this, the 3 jewels in this manner. And then, of course, we went through the 12 commitments of a refuge, okay? And that we will discuss in ACI 7. No, sorry, ACI 9, okay? ACI 7, we talk about Bodhisattva vow. ACI 9, we talk about it's basically the Vinaya, all the vows, right? All the vows. All right, so that's the end of ACI 2. And our next session will be 25th and 26th, I think. 25th and 26th, we have a review, Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, same timing, yeah. And then after that, there will be 5 days of ACI 3, right? ACI 3, which is the 27th, 28th February, and then March 1 to 4, okay? March 3rd, we don't have any session, okay? Because March 3rd, we will start the DCI level 5. This time round, we are not going to do that for Indonesia, okay? We are only doing it in English. So if you are interested and you want to learn, you can register with DMO Wisdom. For Vietnamese team, you can register with either DCI Vietnam, Mr. Bing, or DMI Rio, yeah. So either one, yeah, for Vietnam. Indonesia, we don't do it, but Indonesia, we are going to do the KUK relationship in May. Okay, it's a workshop. Okay, so yeah, that's all. That's all we have for ACI 2, and see you on 25th of February, Saturday. Oh yeah, I forgot the photo. Let's take a photo. Yeah, Ivo has left. Yeah. Okay, if you are convenient, can you turn on the camera and then we take a photo together? Yay. Yeah, Edwina, IT, and then our Vietnamese friend, Han Pan. Han Pan, are you? Hey, got baby. Yeah. How about Nguy Tung and then Chung Nguyen? Han Pan, are you available? If not, then okay, let's take a picture. Okay, get ready. Hold on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, excellent. Where are you?
Where are you?
Where are you? Okay. Stay put.
Sir.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay. Oh, okay, come on. Okay. Okay, ups. No, that's not good. Let's do again.
Oh, can.
Can see? Oh, okay, can see. Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice evening. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for the teaching.
Thank you.
You sit in line.